How y'all doing? I'm parking my car. Hello, I am Dre. Hey, Dre. Hey, Charles. So, 1 second, y'all. Okay. Pin this. My hair making my chin itch. So anyways, how y'all doing? Good Sunday to everyone. Happy Sunday. Thank you, the Jesse Mitchell experience. Thank you so much. Happy Sunday to you as well. Take these off. Oh, they left a little dent on my eye. But how y'all doing? Hello, happy Sunday to everybody. Y'all gotta ignore these eyebrows, honey. Hold on 1 sec. I gotta tell my friend I'm being there in a second. Will, I'll be in there in a second. Give me 5 minutes. So anyways, we're about to go get some brunch. So I wanted to jump up here real quick for March Madness, darling. Yes, we are still March madnessing it up. And on today, I wanted to talk about something a little bit more personal. And I wanted to share with you guys about how I lost thousands of followers. But before I get into that, I want you to understand like what followers I'm talking about. So in 2009 up to 2014, I was in 2 different companies, but 2 different experiences in these wonderful home-based businesses. And at the time, you know, I was able to build up a massive following. A lot of people knew who I was because of these companies. They knew who I was within those companies. And I grew, you know, a very, very big following within those companies, if that makes sense. Well, not even in the first company, because nobody really knew who I was. I was still making a great income, but they didn't know. It wasn't until I went to the second company and everybody began to praise me for the success that I had had. And I used to really allow those praises to determine my emotions, and praise even determined my profits, to be quite honest, because in the world of network marketing, if you know how to edify really well, or if you are edified really well, you can have a tremendous amount of success. And so anyways, I had built this massive following, and around 2014 I decided that I no longer wanted to be in the industry. Now at that time, there were some things that had taken place, and my feelings had been hurt tremendously, and I made it a point to not as I've seen people do way worse than me, but I did make it a point to let people know how I felt. And so I want to talk to you guys though about losing people in your life, okay? And that's what today's topic is. But before I go into losing people in your life, I want you guys to think about it like this. If you've been blessed to have a father in your life, if you've ever been blessed to have a father in your life, I want to tell you a story. And so I remember when I had just turned 16 years old, and I had just turned 16 years old. And you know, when you turn 16 at that time, I don't know what the age is now, but generally most of us are really excited because at 16 means that, you know, it's time for us to get our driver's license and hopefully to get a vehicle. Now, this is the crazy thing, guys. For me, in my mind, I thought we were rich. You understand what I'm saying? I thought that me and my family had a whole lot of money because my dad had a really good way of not necessarily showing the lack, but more so for it to seem like we were very prosperous, right? And so I thought we had a lot of income. And so I just knew that when I turned 16, like it was going to be no problem for me to get a car. And so I remember turning 16, waking up and, you know, telling my father, I can't wait to get a car. Now, this is the thing. At the time when I wanted this car, I never asked my father or thought about to my father about the finances. You know, I never said, you know, well, is he going to be able to afford it? I never really understood anything about credit. I didn't understand about, you know, getting anything on credit. I didn't understand anything about, you know, that he was going to have to pay for this on a monthly basis. Like, I didn't know that you had to do any of these things when you bought a car. All I knew was that I was given a promise by my father that I was going to get a car. And the way that I tie that into is I tie that into God. You know, a lot of us, we have promises that God has already given us. There's been promises that God has given us. And we, you know, when you really understand the promise of God, you don't question it, right? Just like I didn't question my father. I didn't question if he could be able to get this car, if he could afford the car. I didn't even think about it. I just knew the promise was I was going to get the car. And so when I aligned that up to where I was at in 2014 and I made a decision to step out on faith, see, I knew for a fact that God had given me a vision to step into something that I've been doing right now since, you know, for 5+ years. I knew that this was a vision from God. But see, a lot of times, guys, when we make a decision to step out into faith, there are going to be people who do not understand the promise that God has made to us. See, God has made promises to you as well. And everybody's not meant to understand those promises. And what we start doing is we start then, because they don't see the promise, we start focusing on the problem. And what I did was I started focusing on the problem. I started focusing on the fact that the same people that that had been following me in the multi-level marketing space, I thought they were going to follow me forever. And I became kind of upset about the situation. And I started to voice my opinion. And it wasn't that I was voicing my opinion because of I just needed to voice my opinion. It was also because I felt like I needed to protect myself. See, when you focus on the problem, not the promise, you'll always feel the need to protect yourself. And so I had to keep on trying to defend myself, defend my vision, defend the vision that he gave me and no one else. And I found myself in a very, very tough place at that point, y'all. I was defending myself. I was getting online and I was telling people that, you know, whatever, and trying to convince people to see what it was that God had given to me. And in that process, I lost a lot of people. And when I lost all those people, I always sat down and I thought to myself, I would wonder, what could I have done differently? Is there anything that I personally, Taria Vision Avant, could have done differently? And maybe I would not have lost those followers. See, there's going to be people, hey, George, how you doing? That's in your life for a specific reason, season, or a lifetime. And it doesn't necessarily matter anything that you do. It doesn't matter how good you are, how bad you are. There are some people that are not designed to be in your life forever. And so when you are walking in that purpose because of the promise that God has made to you, even if you're not focusing on the problem, there will be some people who will perish. Try all those P's. You know what I'm saying? Look, I was good right there, right? So when you are walking in the purpose that God has promised you, listen, when you are walking in the purpose that God has promised you, there will be some people who will perish. And I had to understand this, y'all. I lost a lot of followers, but they were not designed to be there forever. And a lot of times, guys, even when I think about some of the people that I lost during that reason or even that season, it does hurt, because these were the same people that told me how much they love me. These are some people who I broke bread with, who I let stay in my house. These are some people who, you know, I thought were my brother or my sister. But I've come to learn that in this journey of life, of walking in your purpose, in this journey of focusing on the purpose, in this journey of understanding the promise that God has given to us, there will always be some situations that, you know, you're not going to understand. And you cannot allow yourself to be affected by the distraction. And so, guys, you know, yes, I could have maybe handled some things in a certain way. And I see some people right now that are going through their, you know, challenges and things like that. And if I can give you any advice, is to continue to focus on the promise. Because the more that you do focus on the problem, it makes it harder for you to walk in your purpose. But do your best to continue to focus on that problem, that promise, not the problem, but the promise. Do your best to continue to keep pushing forward no matter what. And yes, you may have some bad days, but don't let yourself have a bad month. Yes, you may have some bad hours, but if you can, don't let yourself have a bad day. Yes, you may have some bad minutes, but if you can, don't let yourself have a bad hour. And so, yeah, man, I'm just grateful now, though, that everybody that I'm connecting with now, because, you know, you might be out here doing things and you're not realizing that you're impacting people, but there's people that are watching you. And so just keep on pushing, keep on having the faith. Stop focusing on the problem, stop focusing on what's not, and focus on the promise and what is. All right, so that's today's March Madness. Look, I did it in under 10 minutes. Your girl is bad. I'm bad. You know what I'm saying? 10 minutes, darling. Holla.